All right, guys, today we're going to start a new chapter. So it's chapter 9. We're going to be adding and subtracting fractions, and it's lesson 1. I forgot the 1. And we're just going to be rounding fractions. Should feel fairly simple to you today. So again, if you're thinking, oh, this is too easy, don't overthink it. It's okay. You do have quite a few notes to write today, but your actual work will be very simple to write. So it'll be fine. All right, so the first thing we want to remember always is that a fraction has a numerator on the top, a denominator on the bottom. So make sure you write that down. Numerators on the top, denominators on the bottom. Okay, and of course, pause me so you can write all this down. The second thing we want you to know is that you use benchmark fractions to round a fraction. And the benchmark fractions are 0, 1/2, and 1. So when you're looking at your fractions, you're going to say, is this closer to 0, is this closer to half, or is it closer to 1? And then, let's get into the steps. Step 1, you want to look at the fraction. So that's pretty easy. You just look at the fraction. Step 2, you decide if it's closer, if the actual fraction is closer to 0, 1/2, or 1. Not super hard yet, right? Number 3, you're going to choose one of these options that I'm about to show you. Because see how we have option A, option B, option C. So please write that down, and then we'll get started. Okay, like I said, there's quite a bit to write here, but it's all really good stuff, so you want to make sure you get it in there. I will cover up some of what you don't need to write yet. So option A is to round down. So if the numerator is much smaller than the denominator, you would just go all the way down and round to 0. So in this case, 3 is quite a bit smaller than 12. It's not half. It's not even close to half. So 3/12 would just be rounded down to 0. So again, if the numerator is much smaller than the denominator, you round down to 0. Option B, if the numerator is about half of the denominator, it doesn't have to be exactly half, but it's close to half, then you would round to 1/2. So for this example, 7/15 is rounded to 1/2 because 7 is half of 14. 14 is awfully close to 15, so you would definitely just round this to 1/2. And then option C, if the numerator is almost as large as the denominator, then you round to 1. For example, 8/10. Well, 8 is a whole lot more than half of 10, so you would round this to 1. Okay, again, write down all those notes. You will need this, and you can use your notes on any test, so it's a great thing to have them all. So let's look at the homework for today. Again, you're not doing the homework, but we just want to make sure you know how to do this. So again, we're going to use 0, 1/2, or 1 because those are our base mark fractions. They're telling you to use a number line just in case you do need it. Sometimes I think the number line's a little tricky because you have to put all the little spots. For example, here is 10 out of 11. So they had to put 11 little marks here, and then they were able to say this 10 out of 11 is really close to 1. I think as long as you just kind of think through this, you should be okay. So for example, 5 out of 9. Well, I look at this and I go, what if I just rounded this up to 10 and I said 5/10? Well, 5 out of 10 is a half. So that's an easy way to just round it and then be like, no, it's about a half. Okay, let's look at this one. 1/14. Well, 1 out of 14 is really like there's nothing there at all, right? But then if we have 12/13, well, that's almost completely full. You know, if I have 12 out of 13 people show up for class, that's like having a full class. That's a 1. If I have 2 out of 13, that's not even close to half. So again, that would be a 0. If I have 9 out of 11, well, half of 11 would be 5 1/2. this is awfully big compared to half, so I'm going to say this is a 1. And then 9 out of 17, well, 9 plus 9 is 18, so geez, that's just about half. Again, be careful, don't overthink it because it's really not as hard as you're going to want to make it.